बहार आई है इस वक्ते ख़िज़ां में, लगे हैं फूल मेरे बोस्तां में।
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that a person who believes in God and the last day should be good to their guests. You can see with the example of the promised Messiah alayhi salam how he followed the teachings of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and set a great example for us to use today.
Yes, there is a very fascinating narration that we find about the promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam, and how he meticulously took care of his guests with such care, and how he also trained the Jamaat members to also take care of guests. And so the narration, it explains that there were two guests from Manipur, Assam, and they came to Qadian. They arrived at the guest house, and the attendees who were there had, received them. And the guest asks, can you take our luggage from our horse cart and arrange our beds? So what happened was the attendees, they responded by saying that, you take care of your luggage, but we'll take care of the bedding for you. On this response, the guests got disappointed, and they went back to their horse cart, and they left. When the promised Messiah alayhi salam heard of this, he started going after them in such a brisk pace that it's narrated that he had difficulty even putting his shoes on. And he was briskly going after them until a point where they noticed him and they stopped, and it was at a canal. And the promised Messiah was able to tell them something, and he said that, I'm very saddened of your decision to return. Please come back with me. And so the narration goes that he took them back, and he personally supervised the care of them, so that their luggage was taken care of, and also their bedding. And then he stayed with them to make sure that their food was also prepared for them, and they ate, and he stayed with them until then. And after that, the promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam, he advises the the Jama'ah workers that he says that when our guests come from such a long distance, they travel and they go through such hardship that when they finally get their destination, they feel that their travel is done. So when they have to go through more hardship, so then they're going to get upset and disappointed. And then he said that he addressed, it's mentioned in narration, he addressed the companions and he said, "Oh, dear friends, please take care of this." So we learned from this on how much care that the promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam did for the guests, and as I said in the beginning, how much he also wanted to make sure that the Jamaat members learned that as well.
So along the same lines, we have many other incidents which show the love that the promised Messiah alayhi salam had for his guests, the care with which he took care of them. We have an incident from the month of Ramadan. It is narrated by Hazrat Sheikh Karam Ilahi Sahib Patialvi radiyallahu anhu. He says that he was spending one Ramadan in Qadian, and he was in the residence of the Prophet Messiah alayhi salam in a room next to Mubarak Mosque. And he says that that was a room where the Prophet Messiah alayhi salam would have to pass by that room every time he had to go for prayers. So one morning, he opened his door, and the Prophet Messiah alayhi salam is standing there. And he sees that in his hands, he has two bowls of what we call kheer, which is basically a sweet pudding, right? And the Prophet Messiah alayhi salam hands those over to him and says, he gives the instruction that these should be passed on to two guests that were staying there. So he did that. But then the Promised Messiah alayhi salam, after a little while, comes back and brings 2 more bowls, right? And Sheikh Sahib says that the Promised Messiah alayhi salam made 10 or 11 trips like this, where every time he would come and he would say, give these to so and so, give these to so and so. And so all of those guests that were there were given pudding in the morning. This is seher time, just at the time of the start of your fast. When you're about to start your fast, we have the seher, the breakfast that is taken at that time. So this was done 10, 11 times. And the last trip that the Prophet Messiah makes is to give the pudding to Sheikh Sahib and his companion. So he says that this shows the kind of love, the kind of attention the Prophet Messiah paid to his guests, that he made those trips himself. He did not seek anyone's help, and he kept on coming back and forth to deliver the food for his guests.
Wow. That's an amazing story, and one that is really interesting to me, and the story that I love is one time Mirza Nizamuddin sent a vile man who was actually part of the family of the Promised Messiah alayhi salam, sent this man who would yell, scream outside of the door of the Promised Messiah alayhi salam. He would say horrible things all day and all night. And one day, in the month of Ramadan, he would be screaming. And during the time of Sadi, the Promised Messiah alayhi salam asked one of his servants, give this man something to drink. Give him some food. He was yelling and screaming all night. His voice must be sore. This is the amazing part. This is the part that shows me how the Promised Messiah alayhi salam followed the commandments of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yes, and it reminds us too of the compassion of the Promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam, for everyone, even his enemies, and for everyone. And there's one story that I'd like to narrate about his great compassion and his sacrifice that he did for guests. And this is narrated by Hazrat Munshi Zafar Ahmed Sahib.
Razila Ta'ala Anho.
He says that during Jalsa Salana, there was very cold, and during that time, and many guests, they didn't have the proper bedding, the proper quilts. And he says that there was a young khadam who went with a message that these guests, they need quilts and beddings. And he says that so the bedding and quilts were then sent from the Promised Messiah's home. And Munshi Sahib says that after Isha prayer, I went to see the Promised Messiah ﷺ, and he said that I saw him standing, with his hands between his armpits, warming them. And I could tell that he doesn't have his mattress, neither his quilt. And it was very cold. And I said to him that, Munshi Sahib says, I said to him that, it's very cold. Why did you give your own quilt? And then he said, the guests shouldn't have any problem. Don't worry about me. The night, he said, the night will pass on somehow. So Munshi Sahib, he explains that later that evening, a quilt was arranged for the Promised Messiah. And he says that when the quilt came to the Promised Messiah responded by saying that you should give that to whoever needs it. And he said that, I don't sleep very much anyways. It's just thinking about, even at that time, it's a Jalsa Salana, and it must be so much things he has to do. And he's without his bedding and everything in the cold. And Munshi Sahib explains that, there was nothing we could do to get him to, get a quilt. And so, this incident, it shows his compassion and how much he's ready to sacrifice his comfort for guests.
To speak of it from another angle, when it comes to guests, the Prophet Messiah Islam also had concern for how they felt, right? And we have an element of equality when it comes to the treatment of guests. And there's one incident that shows this particularly. It is from the Jalsa Salana 1905. There's a person who narrates that he decided that at the occasion of Jalsa Salana, he knew a person, Maulvi Ghulam Hussain Sahib, Peshawari, and some other people who were with him. So he decided that he was in charge of preparing food, this companion, he was in charge of preparing food. And so he decided that he's going to prepare special food for Maulvi Sahib, right, and his companions. And of course, the other guests will also get their food, but Maulvi Ghulam Sahib would get some special food that would be arranged for him. So this narrator says that, it was the habit of the Promised Messiah alayhi salam to always check in with the food arrangement. How is it going? How much time is left? At what stage is the preparation? So the Promised Messiah alayhi salam, after every short interval, would inquire about what is going on. So he says that at one point when he inquired, he mentioned to the Promised Messiah alayhi salam that I am preparing something special for Maulvi Sahib and his companions as well, right, along with the other arrangements. And the Promised Messiah alayhi salam did not approve. He said, these are all my guests, and there is no higher or lower status among them, and we should always treat all the guests in the same way. And he said, if Maulvi Sahib, his daughter, Maulvi Sahib's daughter, wants to cook something special for him due to whatever reason, that is okay. But as far as this, the guest house and is concerned, these are all my guests. And since they are my guests and they are living with all these other guests, they should always have equal treatment. So you can see the minute level to which the Promised Messiah went to ensure that no guest feels hurt by a difference of treatment of the other guests.
We've learned a lot in this episode. The incidents, the stories has been amazing. And I would like to end with a few couplets from a poem that the Promised Messiah ﷺ wrote about his guests. He says, out of affection, the guest came bearing great love. The heart is delighted, the soul is at ease. But the heart was grieved to think of the time of parting. Pray this blessed day, holy is he who watches over me. Jazakallah for joining us. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
बहार आई है इस वक्त ख़िज़ां में, लगे हैं फूल मेरे बोस्तां में।